I never do. So it's.
Thank you, sir. That's even better.
There you go.
There you go. Wanted to first, just about Dario, he wasn't obviously at the last game. What's the status in the first? Will he be back before the opener or?
He should be back before then. He's dealing with a personal family deal. So he should be back before opening night for sure.
And then obviously Cam and Payne, Johnson, Shannon, what's their prognosis? I'm not playing tonight.
Yeah.
Expect them back for the opener.
It's hard to say definitively. They're moving in a good place. Cam, I mean, he dribbled today, which was a good sign. Campaign hasn't been able to do as much with his hand. Cam Johnson has done more, and Landry's pretty much day to day. So we'll have should have a better report this weekend. But it seems like they're trending in a good place.
And then obviously you brought in Lee and Arms,
Yeah.
the local guy. Probably haven't seen enough to make a full assessment, but just your thoughts on what you've seen.
Well, I've seen Saban a little bit, just watching film. You just see guys, and he's got a mind to defend and explosive and strong. We're in a situation where we have a few guys out, and I'm not going to play Book, Chris, DA, and Mikal tonight, and so we're just going to use those guys. What a great experience and opportunity for them to get to play. So that was the main reason why we signed those guys.
When you look at not playing those DA, Book, Chris, and Mikal, was that just something you were trending towards anyway?
Yeah.
If they play a lot this third preseason game, you won't play. That would.
Yeah, I mean, I played them full quarter in Denver. I felt like it was a bonus for us to be in Denver, to get that kind of burn, and the altitude. Their 28 to 30 was probably close to 36, 37, and they were chomping at the bit to go back in. But we saw a really good synergy amongst those guys on both ends, and this was the plan before preseason even started, was to build their minutes up. I'm still of the mindset that with 6-7 games or days in between the first game, it's just weird how everybody tries to mimic the conditioning and then you don't play, for a while. So we have to do it in practice. We'll have at least one day where we come in and just play a game. And then the other days we're going to play a lot anyway. So we'll do our best to keep all of our guys sharp and conditioned. But as far as game condition, I mean, every team's going to have 5-6 days, some maybe 7 before they open up.
Just to follow up with Josh, he was probable as you think.
Josh, yeah.
What are you kind of looking for him? Because obviously he's with some pivotal training camp time, and now he's kind of having to play catch up.
I think he's just trying to figure out what we do while get his sea legs under him. He has to play for his first game in Denver in the altitude. That's a tough task. So he was slotted to play around 20 minutes. I think I kept him below that, but tonight he could play around that. And we're just looking for him to just get acclimated, but also do what he does. You saw it the other night, how he can stay in front of the ball and play with physicality. I thought the finish at the basket out of a timeout, he had a fake handoff. He gets to the basket and finishes with force. Like, those are the kinds of things we think he can do, but it just takes a minute to get your game rhythm.
Damian, he's been first guy off the bench. Like about how he's been able to fill a lot of holes for you.
Yeah, I mean, both ends, the versatility, the experience, the know-how. He picks up stuff. He asks really good questions. Sometimes I have to think about it before I give him a definitive answer, because he asks really good questions. And we value the experience that he's had in regular season and deep playoff runs. And then there's the shot making and the ability to play off the bounce. He guards a few positions with the kind of know-how that allows for the defense behind him to not have to help. And so I think he's going to get more and more comfortable and better. But he's somebody that when we signed him this summer, I was pretty excited about what he could bring to the team.
Monty, with that being said, is he a guy because he's coming off the team who's so stacked? You think a lot of people maybe undervalue what he can do just because he really did have a specific role?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope they undervalue him every night. I always felt that way. I wouldn't say I did it on purpose, but they had so many, ringers in Golden State, and then he comes into the game and he's slashing to the basket for a layup. He's getting a deflection, or he's knocking down a corner three, and you're like, man, he wasn't even in the top 8 or 9 guys that we talked about, and then he comes in and has an impact. And so I hope teams undervalue him, because we played against Golden State enough, and you undervalue him before the game, but then afterwards you're like, sheesh, man. And that was one of the reasons why we felt he would be a good fit for us.
Monty Jock was telling us that back in Australia, he would come around pin down sometimes to open up that shot and run a couple of steps.
I like the fact that he's not afraid to shoot. We'll figure out how to use him, as the season progresses. But the other night he wasn't knocking down threes, and we ran an ATO for him in the 4th, and he shot it like it was the first quarter. And that to me is a huge sign. But he has the footwork, and he's a diligent worker. And I know the system he came from. I know how they develop big guys to play inside and outside. He can do both. And I think guys like that pose challenges for other teams' bigs, because you don't know if he's going to dive or pop, and that can really mess up your pick and roll coverage at times. But then if you try to switch on Jock, I've been pleasantly surprised at how he's willing to mix it up down there and punish smaller guys in post-up situations and offensive rebounding. So we're learning a lot about him. We don't want to put too much on him, but we do feel like he's somebody that's going to help us a ton this year.
With this shot, he had mentioned that mentality too, of just like, I know when I'm open, I have to shoot it. Is that something as a coach with newer players that you get a sense for right away when guys are willing to shoot?
Yeah, I think you read the situation. A lot of times I'll get up and walk the sideline just so I can focus on stuff like that. There were a couple times the other night where we ran a play. It wasn't for him to shoot the ball, but they didn't guard him, and he shot it. And that's confidence. That's understanding the game. If you don't take that shot, then you become a liability. And we have a let it fly mentality, and he puts the work in. And so I don't mind him taking, when he's out there 2, 3, 4 threes in the minutes that he's going to get.
Thanks,
Yep, thank you.